Hello, Kansa. My name's Patrick. This is the Horror Fish, and welcome to your Retrograde season reading. So today I'm going to be using the Spirit Keeper's Tarot. I guess I have all the boxes over here, so let's see. I'll be using the Spirit Keeper's Tarot for the Pluto Retrograde. I'll be using the Wild Unknown Tarot for the Jupiter Retrograde. I'll be using the Pride Tarot for the Venus Retrograde. And I'll be using the Kawaii Tarot for the Saturn Retrograde. So let's get right into this. So I wasn't initially really going to look at the cards at the bottom of the deck when I start this video. I did it for Virgo because I was like, oh my gosh, there's the Hermit. And then I did it for Leo because I was like, oh my gosh, there's the Sun. And I'm not seeing the Moon or the High Priestess. But the Two of Cups was the first card that came out. And Pluto is bringing us the Two of Cups. I guess in the beginning, like, the planets don't necessarily extremely too much matter, but they kind of sort of do, but they don't, right? Because all of this would have happened before they went retrograde. Kind of, sort of, in a way. This is like the backstory before the backstory, right? So we have the Two of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Mother of Swords, which is the Queen of Swords. This is interesting because you have every cardinal energy on the board except Aries. We have Cancer in the Two of Cups, Capricorn in the Four of Pentacles, Libra in the Mother of Swords, and then Gemini in the Lovers. So I feel like this speaks to choices. Like, this Lovers could be an actual person, I guess, since we do have the Two of Cups here, right? But I feel like it speaks to the mindset that you've been in, Cancer. Because we have this Four of Pentacles that came out right after the Two of Cups. Which means that I feel like you are kind of sort of guarded against it. And with this Queen of Swords, you may know why, or it may be your mouth. And then with this Lover's card, it's like maybe you're not willing to sacrifice or change the things that need to be changed or sacrificed in order for you to get a sort of truer love. And, like, you know, it's all dependent on what you want, but we do have that sort of opposition between, you know, Cancer and Capricorn, even though it's a 2-4 opposition, which would be a first decan, third decan. It's not extremely tight, but I feel like, you know, if that was a love that was working, you would have gotten, like, you know, the Three of Pentacles, like y'all building together, or even the Two of Pentacles, like, you know, y'all sort of like balancing it out, figuring it out, making sacrifices for each other. So maybe you were going a little harder for somebody else. Potentially Cancer. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you ain't got time for love. Maybe Cancer's like, I ain't got time for love. Aries ain't on the board because I am the Aries. I'm trying to get some stuff done. And that's a distraction. Or maybe not. I don't know, Cancer. Okay. We'll start. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be essentially shuffling up, looking for your major, which is the Chariot, and then I'm going to be putting excuse me woo, I don't know where that came from. And then I'm going to be putting, oh, I feel like I got a cough in me, but it's almost like a, what is that? It's not like allergies, maybe it's like a flutter in my, I guess in my bronchial tube or something. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's in my lungs, but I don't know. It's a little bit of a flutter. Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, so I'll be looking for the Chariot, and I'm going to be recentering the deck around the Chariot, and then I'm going to pull the top and the bottom, sort of as the subconscious and the conscious influence that this retrograde is bringing, or how it's affecting things, and then everything else that falls in between, right, is you. That's how I'm doing it. If it resonates for you, it resonates for you. If it doesn't, there are plenty of people doing plenty of things out here, and you can go and find any one of them. I will put a timestamp in the description box for when all of the cards are out and I officially begin. And I'm going to start here. Y'all have the Keeper. So y'all's definitely, at least think y'all spiritually evolved. And I say that because this Knight of Swords and then this Ace of Cups comes out right after, right? Followed by this Emperor, which is interesting. But the Emperor is followed by this ivory shield, which is the Queen of Cups. And so this is y'all's energy, right? And so maybe y'all are coming into a more of an Emperor energy. Maybe that's y'all sort of shielding yourselves from it. And I say like y'all are coming, it's like, spiritual awakening is a grand and magnificent thing. But it opens us up, or that's one of the ways that it functions. And so if you are fighting the feelings, or if you are dictating and controlling how open you allow yourself to be to people, then it's like you're going to be reflecting that same limitation onto your spiritual abilities, maybe, right? Or your spiritual growth at the very least. And so with this keeper, it's like maybe there are some cancers that think, I don't know who this is for, but maybe there are some of y'all who think that you've kind of sort of done everything that it is for you to do. Like you're feeling like a master, you feeling like you've mastered everything. And I feel like this Knight of Swords is coming in to say like there are things that you still have yet to know. And then the Ace of Cups, the Emperor, and the Queen of Cups, like you see that big old shield she got that's in front of her heart. I feel like this is, again, it's like you're too sort of in, like things are too rigid, too structured, you too logical, you want to be too in control of things in order to fully allow this connection to sort of blossom. And that's why the shield is coming out. And I'm saying that because, I don't know, something about this Knight of Swords coming out after this Keeper. Like, the Keeper should already know everything that they need to know, right? This is the Awakened Fool. This is the Fool who's made its journey through the major arcana and is in that brand new world with a whole new set of skills. But then immediately comes out this truth that you don't know. And it's not that, we ever reach the point where we're done learning. But I don't know, I'm just getting a vibe that maybe for some of y'all it's going to expand y'all. For some of y'all it's going to be something that you don't want to hear, or you don't want to feel, or you don't want to experience, and you're going to, like, you have closed yourself off to it. And so it's going to kind of sort of prevent how far you'll grow, sort of, or how quickly you'll grow at least. Who am I looking for? The Chariot. What's the Chariot look like in this deal? I remember the bottom. I don't remember what the top looks like. I don't think I get the Chariot too frequently in this deck, honestly. Oops. Ooh, that Erudite, that Hermit came sliding right out after that. What was that? The Strength card? Yeah. Right after Strength came this Hermit. So for some people, they think that being strong is being emotionally unattached, or being able to be unaffected emotionally. And it's like, it may be time to redefine what you think of as strength. Because it's almost like at the end of the day, who would you be? Who would you be if you were not you? There you, yeah, I know what this Chariot looks like. I should have known. And look, in this Chariot card, you see all the cardinal energies represented on that shield, right? You see the crab for Cancer, which is y'all. You see the scales for Libra, the goat for Capricorn, and that ram for Aries over here. What's west? Because that's the direction y'all was missing. But y'all have the Lovers in that space, which is all about making a choice, right? And then here's another Knight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, he's one of the cards I've been seeing a lot of. The Archangel Commander. I was going to say I've been seeing him a lot, and I didn't. But there he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bottom of the deck is going to be that Page of Cups, or the Stronghold of the Grail. I'm going to pull this card. I haven't seen a Stronghold in the bottom of the deck yet. Top of the deck is going to be the Ace of Pentacles. So yeah, I don't know if you can too much get any further without it. And then here we have the Ten of Swords. So y'all need to go through an ego death. Because something about what y'all think strong is, something about the way you do things that leaves you, it's like you're not completely unconnected, but your connection is, you're being asked to deepen your ability to connect. So maybe that would require you to be a little bit more vulnerable or something. I don't know. I don't know if y'all don't like being vulnerable or something. Cancer, I don't know. But Pluto was like, you ain't getting too much further without this. And that's y'all's trying. So through Scorpio, that's y'all's trying. But Pluto's been opposing y'all in Capricorn. So y'all have had a lot of opposition, I guess, if I think about it. All them, the Pluto Capricorn, the Pluto Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto conjunctions, all in Capricorn, when we had 5 planets in Capricorn. All of that opposing y'all. And an opposition isn't necessarily extremely difficult, because I feel like it makes things plain. And it's like a yes or no, right? It's not like a square where you have to go and learn this whole complicated lesson. What are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to show me? I'm not getting it. Could you make it plain, please? And then the opposition is just like this or that. Either you continue as you were going, or you make changes to pick a new direction. And this is related to the space of emotion. And the space of emotion is deeply connected with the space of spirituality through the heart. Bottom of this is the Ten of Pentacles. So maybe some family drama, maybe some family trouble. Maybe, let's see. The Nine of Pentacles and then the Seven of Wands. So Saturn's bringing the Ten of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Seven of Wands. The Ten of Pentacles is ultimate abundance. So it looks like you went from the 10 to the 9. So maybe you've had a falling out with someone. That could have been a family member or someone who was close like family. And sort of now it's put you on this, it's put you on edge, and it's put you on the defensive mode. And this could have been someone in the past, right? It could have been the case that, well, this is all about karma, right? So there could be a cycle that you ran with someone else, maybe someone who worked closely with you to establish something, and then they sort of cut out or dipped out, because then we have this Ace of Pentacles up here, and we have this 9 right here, right? So maybe they sort of cut out or dipped out on you in whatever way that looked like. And it could have been a family member who left, or who you may feel abandoned by or something. And it's like now for whatever reason, you're kind of sort of put back in that mindset, but you're put back in that place because Saturn is asking you with this Tower moment, have you changed or not? Or with this, look, this is 777. 7 of Wands, the 16 Tower, and then the 7 of Swords. It's like, have you changed, or are you going, or are you going to continue to allow this past experience to keep you from everything that it is that you could have? And maybe with that 9 of Pentacles, maybe you you know what, I have enough. And then there's the 7 of Cups coming after that 4 of Swords. So yeah, maybe you're like, you know what, I'm good where I am. I've had enough. And I don't need anymore. And then here's this Devil, and I'm feeling that more as stubborn and stuck to those cycles. So we'll see. But Saturn is giving you an opportunity to break free. What does the Chariot look like on this deck? Why can't I remember what the Chariot looked like? Do y'all know what the Chariot looked like? When's the oh, it's right here. When's the last time y'all have made some movement, Cancer? Maybe y'all don't even know what the Chariot looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fairly close to the middle this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 31. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bottom of the deck is going to be that Knight of Wands. Hold up, I think I did that backwards. Yeah, I did. 1 second. I'm not stop Cancer. I don't remember where I was, so I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna mother freaking take it. Pump it louder. So the SKT I'm gonna leave on the board because I love using that deck to anchor in an energy. I'm gonna leave the major on the board but for everything else I'm gonna pull it. So this is how I get the middle, right? Because here's the top of the deck. I put this back in the middle, and then I put this on bottom like that. And that's how I determine what's the top and what's the bottom. So top of the deck is this Ace of Cups. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Knight of Wands. And then left at the bottom is this Moon card. So you have the Moon card, and then you have this Ten of Swords, Destruction, which happens at night. So this speaks to internal, very, very, very deep wounds. Somebody cut you deep. And maybe it was family in order for it to hurt like that. Or someone that you were building a family with, or someone that you built family with. And it's almost like with that Mother of Swords still down there, it's almost like in order to, and then look at this, at the cut, Ace of Pentacles and the Fool card. And then you see that heart on that Fool? It's tied up. You gotta cut that out. You gotta free it. With that Mother of Swords, though, it's almost like, you know, in order to prevent someone else from experiencing the pain that you felt, or whatever, it's like maybe you're coming down a little harder on them. And what they need the most from you right now is like love, and not like, this didn't work for me, so it's not going to work for you. Even though that may be how you express love, you know, because you don't want someone to go through the same pain and heartache and heartbreak that you went through, or just any, really. Like, even if you didn't go through it, you don't want someone to go through something like that. But you have to realize that their experience is their experience, and not everything translates directly, because what one person needs to go through to get to where they need to be is not necessarily what you went through to get to where you needed to be. And if you aren't still where you need to be, then I don't want to say you're not qualified to give advice, but if you're still operating from the space, from the hurt and the pain that was like inflicted upon you, then what you're going to be like, then that it taints the lesson, right? Now, if you work through it, if you've healed from it, and then you give advice, that'd be something completely different. And we're starting at the bottom of the deck with the Six of Wands, the Nine of Cups, and the Four of Wands. This is interesting. What was this before? The Lovers? I don't know. Maybe the story is shifting and changing. Or maybe I'm just full of it. I'm sorry. Six of Wands is about victory. The Nine of Cups is all about wishes fulfilled. And then the Four of Wands is a celebration. And then the Page of Wands is right here. So I guess kind of sort of following the same continuum. When I said somebody cut y'all deep, and it might have been family or someone that you were trying to, like, that you had built a family with. It's like, here's this element of victory. Here's like a wish that you had being fulfilled. This happy sort of occasion. And then we have someone taking one of these wands off somewhere else. leaving you in a potential 3 of Wands third party, because you have 4 Wands here and they take one of the Wands. Maybe you had a marriage that fell apart or a relationship that fell apart, and so you're trying to prevent, or not prevent, you're trying to encourage someone to not make the same mistake. Maybe it's like, get to know this person a little bit better. Or maybe you're trying to prevent yourself from making the same mistake. Maybe this is your shadow self talking to your current self, right? And it's like, maybe now you're in this situation. Maybe Venus retrograde is bringing you, if it was someone who kind of sort of walked out on you, maybe that person is coming back. But maybe Venus retrograde is sort of like bringing you an opportunity to be actually like happy and fulfilled. But you're like, last time I felt like this, last time I was on this path, this trajectory, things went south and somebody cut out on me and then left me to pick up the pieces. And so maybe that person giving the other person advice is like your past self giving your current self advice, where like you've done, like if you have done the healing and stuff like that, but you're encountering this situation for the first time, it's almost like putting that healing to the test. And so far everything is saying like you have a brand new start in front of you. Now, I don't know if this is a brand new start with a brand new person, or if this is a brand new start in jeopardy by whoever this was that cut out on you coming back. Now, people do change, but I don't know. It's your life. Cancer, it's your life. It's your life. Do what you want to do. It's your life. I'm going a little slower because I don't necessarily too much remember what the chariot looks like in this deck. So I actually got to read the cards instead of just looking at the pictures. So sorry. Ooh, that was a string of majors. Okay, I'm going to look at this for a second. Because I was like, okay, this is a string of majors. And then they kept coming. So it starts with the devil coming after an ace of wands. Maybe something started a little bit hot, a little bit fiery, a little bit passionate. Maybe look at the way things began with this person, or look closer towards the beginning. Because it may be the case that, like, now that you're reaching this space, if this is about a hesitation with a connection to someone else, maybe look at how things started in the beginning this time compared to how they started last time, right? Because there may have been something, and like it started off different. Maybe you started off because, oh, look, here's Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands. Maybe, like, because the fire is an element of purification. So maybe you were already healed, or you were primarily over the situation, or you were less affected by the situation than you were consciously aware. And so you were able to be this, like, fun, here's the Aries energy, kind of. You were able to be this fun, sort of spontaneous person and embody this fun, spontaneous energy, because in the beginning it was just fun, right? It wasn't serious. But maybe as things became more and more and more serious, as you got more attached, or as somebody else got more attached, or as someone reached and approached the point of like, okay, well, this is about the time where it started shifting last time. Oof. This is about the time where it started shifting last time. And so maybe as you got closer to whatever, you started projecting more of those fears onto the situation, right? Because we start off with this devil and with this hermit. And so the devil and the hermit are coming out after that ace of wands. So I feel like, this could be you. Like the past rears its ugly head. It's like maybe a part of your shadow comes back and it's like, remember what happened last time you got involved with somebody like this, and how well it didn't end up? This is almost also the energy of like red flags that you didn't see the last time. And so now you're overly cautious this time. And then you have this hermit, which means you're getting, like, this is where you're stopping. You're stopping in this devil energy. And it's like he is whispering in your ear, getting you to see all these things that may or may not necessarily be there. And then we have this moon card and this star card. Both of these are lights in the dark. And right now you're in the darkness with the devil. So you're like, okay, so is this a star that actually brings me hope, joy, and fulfillment? Is this something that actually leads to where I'm going? Or is this all an illusion? Or is this all a trick? It's almost like, you're in this hermit mode, stuck in the dark, and you have one person whispering in your ear, and then you have another person on the other side, and one of them is the devil and one of them is not. And you can't tell the difference because you're so attached to this pain. And maybe that's kind of sort of the limit on this spiritual growth. It's because now it's coming to a space where you are conquering that part of your shadow, where you are learning to discern the difference between those two, and you are learning to elevate yourself out of that space. And maybe since you're in that space of sort of decision, I'll call it, because the Lovers was at the bottom of the deck for this deck. Maybe since you're at that space of decision, it's sort of causing decision to pop up in other aspects. And it's like, you know what, better safe than sorry. And then we have this Pride card and the Sun card. So the Pride card is life, healing, sunlight, nature, serenity, and spirit. I feel like, and look, then you see all the colors in the sun right there. So I feel like it's almost like, you've done all of this once before, or you've gone through this once before, or at least you were less affected than you are right now before. And whatever helped you get through it last time, maybe go through a little bit of that again. Because I feel like with the Sun card, it's illuminating every single one of these areas. And maybe look at who you were at that time. Because I feel like this Sun card is authenticity, right? And so let's say you weren't completely being yourself whenever you courted someone else or whenever you met someone else in the past. And so there were things that you were hiding because you were afraid to be judged or whatever. I don't know, Cancer. Like, y'all got a shell. Y'all can be like hermit crabs and go in that shell sometimes. All of us water signs can do a deep dive. Everybody can do a deep dive, but us water signs especially. And then we get all them waters from the past that sort of come, and everyone gets those, but Anyway, I feel like if you weren't completely being yourself before, then maybe there were things that person didn't know about you. And it's almost like, if both parties show up to the table in complete and total authenticity, or if you're able to see who the other person is in a more whole and complete light, and if they're able to see you that way, then it's like, the situation is already different. And if you are more of yourself now than you have ever been before, the situation is already different. And with this Page of Cups, I feel like it's like, don't be afraid. Oh, this is the Queen of Cups. Sorry. That's y'all's energy right there. The Queen of Cups, that's y'all Cancerian energy. It's like, don't be afraid. Trust your guidance. Trust your intuition. And, know that a lot of times your intuition is going to tell you to do something that gets you out of your shell, Hermit, Crab. And then y'all got the Hermit that came out after the double, right? A lot of times your intuition is going to push you out of your shell, Hermit, Crab, because that's how it gets you to grow. And when you grow, Hermit Crab, you get a new shell. You get a bigger shell. It's like you're getting too big for that old shell, and it's constricting you in ways that are limiting you. And it's time to grow out of that. We have this Five of Wands followed by this Emperor, though. There's some Aries energy, so it ain't necessarily going to be difficult. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm already like half an hour in, and I ain't started yet, so more of this will be cleared up as we kind of sort of go. I guess I don't want to cheat y'all either, so I'm not just going to be like, oh, this video is already really long, so I'm going to stop. And look, here's that Ace of Pentacles again. It's probably not going to be there because y'all came out fairly close to the top of the deck, but here's that Chariot card. I think that's Caitlyn Jenner. It might not be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 36, 37, 38, 39. I think I did that right. Oof. And look, that's the card right after I stopped talking to. Right after I stopped. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. The counting got weird, but that is correct. That's correct. And then the chariot goes to sit at the middle, and then this goes on top. So the bottom of the deck is going to be that 10 of Wands. All this working ain't working for me no more. Top of the deck is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups is coming out after that Ace of Cups. So it's time for you to take that. And then again, the Emperor is at the bottom of the deck. So now this Emperor might be a whole other Emperor than the past Emperor. Right? Or maybe it's the same person. I don't know. I'm doing Jupiter retrograde last for y'all for some reason. So, I don't know. This will be interesting. I feel like I'm reading into these more and more, and the videos, they were getting shorter for a point, but now they're starting to get longer again, which is fine because they always come out as they need to, right? I just sort of follow, if a message kind of sort of jumps on it, me, I'll follow it. Right? Some people need a little bit more context than other people because it's like some people are closer to the situation that they're coming out of. It's almost like you have someone chasing you. And I've said it before, it's like almost like you have someone screaming insults at you. And so you go into your room and you close the door so that it doesn't affect you, but you know, you don't move away from the door and they're screaming at you, so you still hear everything they're saying, even though you're on the other side of the door. And so it's like it's still affecting you, even though you're on the other side of the door. You just need to put some distance between you and that door so you can live your life and they don't affect you anymore, or as much, right? Or put in your headphones, and then we have this Empress coming out first, followed by this Death card, followed by the Magician, followed by the Sun. So, I love this. You see, can y'all see that? And then we have the Emperor over here with the Empress coming out first. So look at this. The Death card, I was talking about, you need to put distance between you and that door. The Death card is facing the Empress. The Magician is facing the Sun. Like, you are not who you were anymore. Like, your advice is good, sure, but it's not applicable for the situation because things are different and things have changed. And we're manifesting the Sun, and this Empress has been transformed. She is not the naive little princess that she was before. She's not even the queen that she was before. As her kingdom expanded into an empire, she grew into that Empress. And so the Empress does not make the same mistakes as the Queen, and the Empress isn't encountered by the same situations as the Queen. This Seven of Wands saying it's a whole new ball game, and you can't continue to play this game as if it were the last one. You're playing against a different team. You're playing a completely different sport. And like I said in whoever's video, it's like you're afraid of striking out, but you're bowling now, so a strike is a good thing. It's like the rules of the game have completely changed. Some of the lingo may be the same, but you're playing a different game, and it doesn't mean what it used to mean. I'm looking for the chariots. What does the chariot look like in this deck? That was a strength card. Okay. Oh, I know. It's that horse. It's the horse with the sun and the moon on it. And Cancer, I was going to talk about how y'all's season is kicking off a whole lot with that eclipse we have. We have an eclipse on a summer solstice. Somebody in some astrology, whatever, on Twitter said that when eclipse happens on a solstice, that eclipse energy gets applied to like the whole planet. It globalizes that energy. Instead of an eclipse typically being more of a personal thing. And here's y'all's chariot. Y'all closer to the top of the deck this time too. And look, there's that devil again. And then here's justice. Justice and then that devil. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 26. I'll try to remember. So this is like, as long as you keep giving the devil the key to your place, he's going to keep coming to your house. And as long as you keep hiding your key in the same spot where he knows where it is, he's going to keep coming into your house. So it's time to stop giving the devil keys, and it's time to stop leaving your keys in the same old hiding places. And leaving your keys in the same old hiding places is you not healing from the things that have triggered you in the past. Because if you can't heal past them, they will continue to have a hold on you. And there was like a lot of strength that Cancer was trying to come into after whatever situation. Like, the way to truly gain strength over that situation and to take your power back from that person is to heal yourself from whatever it is that they did that now triggers you. Because as long as you continue to get triggered, that person in that space and time in your trauma, which is valid, but as long as you continue to get triggered by it, that person still has that sort of power over you. And so it's like you're playing strong, but why play strong when you can be strong? This was 26, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 32, 4, 3, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Goodness. Goodness. Goodness gracious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bottom of the deck is going to be this Temperance card. Top of the deck is going to be, ooh, the Eight of Wands. It's funny that Temperance came out because Temperance actually popped into my head. And it was this card when I was like, what does the Chariot look like again? And then Temperance popped into my mind. I was like, no, that's the Temperance card. Son of Cups, where we have the Knight of Cups. Same energy. So at the bottom of the decks, we have the Ten of Swords, the Moon, the Emperor, and the Son of Cups. I feel like you intuitively know that something is different about this person because something is different about you. And like I said, like you have this voice, you're hermiting with the devil right now. It's like you've locked yourself in the house. It's almost like a horror movie, but you lock the door after you find out that the horror monster person, whatever, is in the house with you. And so like it's like you go to the door instead of leaving the house, you lock the door. And maybe you're like, you know what, this haunting has gone on for long enough. You ain't chasing me no more. And maybe that's why you locked yourself in with the devil. Or maybe that's why you got locked in with the devil. Maybe you ain't do it on purpose, but that's what's happening. But it's happening so you can put it to bed. 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to see if, yeah. I'll move this up a little bit. Y'all can see a little bit more. There we go. Kind of, sort of. All right, so let's get into this. Ooh, let me timestamp. And I'm going to take a picture. So 37 minutes and 40 seconds. Girl, I can't believe it. These get longer and longer, it seemed like. Man, around Libra, it was like good. Pisces and Aquarius was interesting. Now we're starting to get a little bit longer, which is interesting. It's all interesting. And I'm going to timestamp this real quick. Bear with me. And let's go. I'm going to say 38:20. Was that annoying? I'll say 38:25 because I didn't type the 3. And apparently it takes me like 10 seconds to type a number because I text that slow. So, let's begin. So, for those of y'all who skipped ahead, the general story kind of sort of consensus is maybe there was someone or something that you met in the past that made you really happy. Could have been a family member, could have been a person that you made family with. But long story short, they kind of sort of cut out on you and it left you kind of sort of heartbroken. And maybe there was a financial loss associated because we did go from the 10 of Pentacles to the 9 of Pentacles with, I believe it was the Hawaii Tarot. And now it's like you have a person in the situation, you have a person in your life who is kind of sort of approaching the same place, or you have manifested a brand new person. And it's almost like you're giving yourself bad advice because, you know, you're giving yourself advice from the hurt that you experienced and not from the healing that has happened. The Sun card came out over here, which was the Sun, and the Moon also came out. So it was like you're hermiting in with the devil because you basically got triggered somehow. I don't know. You got triggered somehow, and then you entered this hermit mode where things kind of sort of stopped. And so you've been spinning in cycles when you're being asked to come out of that, to step into the healing that you've done, and to experience something that is brand new and fulfilling, right? The Ace of Cups did come out, so it's fulfilling beyond fulfilling. It's like, you thought you had, I mean, the Ace of Cups is here again, right here. But it's like, you thought you were fulfilled before, but I'm going to show you what actual fulfillment is, and you have that opportunity. Or you're coming into that opportunity, or you're preventing yourself from having that opportunity. Bottom of the decks are the Ten of Swords, the Moon card, the Son of Cups, and the Emperor. So it's like, there was somebody who you thought was your emperor before. Turned out they weren't. Now you've manifested a new emperor. I think the key here, and it came out with the Venus retrograde, is that, like, maybe you weren't completely being yourself before. Maybe there were things and parts of you that you were hiding, maybe because you just didn't heal them yet. But now that those parts of you have seen the light of day, it's like someone can make a more accurate judgment on whether or not you would work for them. And you can kind of sort of judge someone else on the same, right? And like, that's kind of sort of where we start things. You have one person whispering in your ear, and you have another person whispering in your ear while you're in this hermit mode darkness. One of those people is the devil. One of those people is the you that experienced all that hurt, that hasn't yet been healed, that would see you not repeat your same mistakes. And the other person is, an angel. Temperance is an angel. Like, angels always push you outside of your comfort zone. Pretty much almost always, because they're there to get you to grow spiritually. It's like your spiritual growth has been stunted by the situation. And it's like you were growing fine until you re-encountered a situation like this, and now you've kind of sort of hit a snag point because you don't want to repeat the same mistake, quote unquote, that you made last time. And so this angel in your ear is like, like, things are different. You've healed and evolved and changed. This person isn't the person who you, like, sort of met before. And it's like, if you go back to the beginning of whatever this relationship was, I think you would see that, because the Ace of Wands was here, which is a single light in the darkness before things kind of sort of before you get confused by all these different candles and by all these different lights, and then before you start putting mirrors in places where it's reflecting all these candles, and you're like, okay, well, which candle is the one? It's almost like the Seven of Cups feeling, like, which one is the right one for me? If you go back to how it began, I think you would notice, or you would know, that it's different this time. And yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Some of that healing doesn't happen until you make the hard choices, right? Some of that healing doesn't happen until you drag that shadow into the light. And you drag that shadow into the light by making the choice that you should be making right now, not the choice that keeps you safe because of fear and worry and anxiety. And like, I don't want to repeat those cycles, but it's like the only official way to get out of a cycle is to put it to bed. And the only way to put a cycle to bed is to shut the door literally right in front of its face. I talked about how, like, there's like this person who's screaming insults at you. And so to get away from it, you go into a room and you shut the door. Now this person is screaming at you. So if your back is on the door, you're still going to hear them, and it's still going to affect you. You need to put distance, and you need to put space between you and that door. You need to put headphones in. You need to do something, because it's like you've already closed the door. You've already closed that cycle. But as long as you continue to stand where you're standing, it's going to get you. Just like Stranger Things. And I'm not going to say what happened, when, or where, but as long as you stand on the outside of that door, it can still get you. And I was like, oh my gosh, that made me so upset when that part happened. And I'm like, if you only would have taken a few more steps. Okay. So yeah, so we're starting over here with Jupiter. Jupiter is bringing us temperance. This is interesting because I feel like this is telling us that we need to balance sort of our water and our fire. That's our emotions and our desires. And I'm not going to clear my throat. My throat will clear itself, I guess, because it does that sometimes. And I was going to go grab a bottle of water, and I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to clear my throat. Sometimes I do. Lately, I'm in the space where I don't want to clear my throat. Sometimes I forget that I'm not clearing my throat, and I do it. But I'm not doing it this time. See, there it is. It just cleared itself. because it's like, sometimes the throat chakra will try to close up, and sometimes it's like in us trying to clear our throats, it's like, we're trying to reevaluate how we speak what we're speaking, or we're trying to clean up the message in some way, and it's like, no. It's almost like a reactionary thing. It's like, ooh, like, don't say that, don't go that far. And like, no, it's time for the truth to come out. And the truth is going to come all the way out. The truth will set you free. Sometimes you just got to break through the blockages. Because pretending like they're not there and like clearing your throat and trying to like put bandages on it and dress it up, it's like it's still there. So with this temperance card coming out in the space of the Jupiter retrograde, Jupiter is the planet of good fortune. It's the planet of philosophy. And it can be the planet of, it's the planet of expansion. So ergo, there too, so for international travel. Maybe seeing things from a different perspective. It could be a culture shock. I guess maybe somebody from a different culture could be involved. Or an experience that isn't your typical experience is involved. I think an experience that isn't your typical experience is involved. And that's why this angel is on your shoulder is like this is a completely different situation. Like, you can't apply what works in the southern hemisphere to what works in the northern hemisphere, right? If I moved to the southern hemisphere right now with a tank top and some shorts, and if that's all I packed, I would freeze because it's going into the winter down there. And if they came up here with, a huge fur coat and like boots and hats and everything else, they would burn up because it's winter up here. Like, you need to understand and recognize that, whatever you learned was valid for the situation that you were in the past. But you've potentially done enough healing that the whole world is upside down right now. So don't treat it like it's the winter time when it's about to be the summer. Don't, because like it's like you're about to hibernate. You're hibernating, you're preparing to hibernate with this devil energy when it's like, it's the summer out here. If you hibernate now, when you wake up, it's going to be time for you to actually hibernate, when you could be hibernating with the angel instead of the devil, right? If you hibernate with the devil now, if you hermit with the devil now, by the time you come out of the cave, it's going to be time for you to go back in the cave. But it's like you already went through that period, and it's going to be difficult. Like, the reason why bears hibernate through the winter is because, the things that sustain them are no longer, right? Bears like to eat fish. If the river freezes over, bear ain't going to be eating no fish. Bears eat honey. When it's cold outside, ain't no bees and wasps out there building nests and pollinating flowers and making that honey, right? It's like, and that's the reason why they get it all in before it disappears. But it's like, I don't know. It's not time to hibernate. It's time to act, and it's time to do stuff. The Chariot is y'all's card, and I never quite frankly understood why Cancer is a Chariot, but Cancer is a cardinal energy, and I guess the Chariot is the most cardinal water energy because of the connection it has with itself. And because, the Chariot is always depicted with the light horse and the dark horse, and it's because it requires unifying those forces, or at least getting them on the same page so you can make some movement. And right now, you may be in this hermit mode, and it's time for you to get your past self in line with what you're coming up on, what you're coming upon. And that's this temperance energy. You need to go in and balance your light and your dark, because you're not in the same space that you were in before. And once you do that, there is so much quick energy coming in with this. It's like Jupiter is in Capricorn right now. Jupiter does not like being in Capricorn. Jupiter is a planet of expansion. Saturn is a planet of restriction. And Saturn is at home in Capricorn, which means that Jupiter ain't. Because Jupiter's like, Capricorn, like, what are you doing? I'm supposed to expand and grow. I'm supposed to grow like a tree, like a skyscraper towards the heavens. And Saturn is like, well, we have a height limit around here to not make the other trees or buildings feel like they're, not tall enough. So we're going to need you to sort of limit yourself. And Jupiter has been in Capricorn's home, so it has to abide by it, right? But Jupiter's almost like forcing, like, through whatever change of fortune or change of circumstance. Maybe you saw yourself expanding in one direction and then you encounter a certain block, and the block could be a result of the past. But it's like, once you tackle that, then here comes this sudden expansion. Because like Saturn is in Aquarius right now, so it's like Jupiter's like, well, while Saturn's not here, before Saturn comes back, we're gonna throw this huge party, and here's the huge party. And like I said, if you miss this window, if you hibernate now, it's like you're kind of sort of pausing in the wrong spot. Here we see this Five of Pentacles, so yeah, definitely being left out in the cold in the past, like I was saying. And this could have also been a financial loss, or financial losses could have been involved. But it's like once you put this behind you, you're ready to move on. Because then here, and I'm kind of sort of going to fly through this because this video is already long enough. Sorry. But I will also give it the time where I need to. But I can linger on and like beat certain points to death. I feel like that's not I feel like that's not really necessary. And if it is, I'll do it. Trust and believe. And this will just be a 2-hour video. But here we have the Ten of Wands coming off of this. So the Ten of Wands speaks to the burdens that other people put on us. And the Ten of Wands in this deck speaks of a conversation with God or the gods or the angels or spirit with, why would you make me this way? Why would you put me through these things? And with God, the gods, angels, and spirits saying, we put you through this so you could become strong. And we knew that you could become strong. Therefore, we put you through this. And the strength that you gain from this, you're going to need as you go out, because your message, right? What you've been through become like your story is one of a hero's journey, and you will inspire people, and the healing that you've done, you will then be able to take forward and help heal other people. And with this Knight of Cups, this could be you taking your healing forward. This could also be you taking some other things forward emotionally. But you got to heal from it before you can take it forward, right? You don't want a Knight of Cups to show up with a cup that's less than half full. Because then you're like, okay, Knight, like, did you get thirsty along the way? Like, and did you not have any provisions? Did you not have anything else to drink? If this was literally your quest, like, it was literally your quest to go to this fountain of healing, fountain of youth, fountain of whatever, fill up this goblet and bring me back a full goblet, because the princess or the empress or whoever is in need in the kingdom needs these healing waters. And it's like, you come back and there's barely a drop left in the cup, and they're like, okay, so we're gonna need you to do this again. And you're like, do it again? Oh my gosh, I barely made it the first time. Well, as long as you continue to act like you barely made it the first time, as long as you continue to pretend like you're still in that situation, you're going to keep drinking the cup that you're supposed to be offering to other people. And then here we have this King of Swords, Aquarian energy. Aquarius and Cancer. Y'all's in conjunct. Well, Saturn is in Aquarius right now, so hey, maybe Saturn is the thing that needed some healing. And we're about to go to Saturn next. Oh, look. And then Saturn has this Ace of Cups. So yeah, Saturn probably needs more of the healing waters than you brought, low-key. And it's like... I just cleared my throat. I think it's fine, though. It's like Saturn needs this healing. Because I don't know if you're dealing with a Capricorn or an Aquarius, or if you have Aquarius or Capricorn strong in your chart, or if you're the type of person that just naturally sort of keeps yourself reserved. If you're naturally reserved and you don't speak on anything, and if you don't move on anything, like if you never move on anything, like you're a cardinal energy Cancer. You're supposed to move on something. You're the gosh darn Chariot, for Pete's sake, right? And so this King of Swords needs healing, and the King of Swords is related to the suit of the mind, but it's the king, which is the expression of that, right? And like the Queen of Swords is more like expressing that truth. The King of Swords expression is kind of sort of like through behaviors and actions. And so what needs healing is the way that you think about things. Because this Ten of Wands into this King of Swords speaks of a victim mentality. And this Knight of Cups into the King of Swords is a need or a call to resolve whatever trauma happened in the past, to free yourself from that situation. This card is illustrated off of Sir Ian McKellen, who was Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen The Lord of the Rings, but it's a high fantasy movie. At one point, Gandalf, a wizard, fights the Balrog by himself because the Balrog stood on the Balrog was an obstacle on the journey. So he let the rest of the party continue because, they couldn't afford to get stuck here. So maybe you were hurt in the past, and maybe there is some part of you that's been fighting this thing that became an internal demon so that you can continue to live your life. And now it's like, we're nearing the height of this battle and it's coming back up. Well, in the movie, Gandalf defeats the Balrog by himself and comes back even more powerful. Like, he got a level up because he beat the devil, and that's what the devil energy is. Every time we beat the devil, we level up, we do better, right? We learn, we grow. And so this Knight of Cups is bringing healing to the situation. But at present, you sort of have to choose. Are you going to Knight of Cups heal from it? Or are you going to Ten of Wands still be stuck asking why this happened? And it's like, you already know why this happened. It happened to grow you, to teach you something. Now take up that power and do something with it. And then here we come over to Saturn, where we have this Knight of Wands and the Ace of Cups. So subconscious, we go from the Ten of Wands to this Knight of Wands. I feel like Saturn, who's now in Aquarius, it's like, it's almost the energy of like, Saturn knew that Jupiter would go wild and crazy when it stepped out of Capricorn and went into Aquarius. And it's almost like Saturn didn't want to limit and restrict Jupiter anymore, because Saturn knew that Jupiter was about to go retrograde. So Saturn was like, okay, I'm going to be coming back to Capricorn anyway. Jupiter is going to be stuck here even longer, and I know Jupiter hates it here. I can't find it within me to stop Jupiter from doing things that I think would be mistakes. So I'm going to leave, and I'm going to let Jupiter does whatever it does before I come back, and then I'll help Jupiter clean up whatever it needs to clean up, because I don't have the heart to keep telling Jupiter no. But I also don't have the heart to see Jupiter do things to itself that I know is going to hurt it. So I'm going to leave. I'm going to take a step back. And so now it's like, Saturn took a step back. Jupiter is kind of sort of still in this Five of Pentacles state right now, but it's coming out of it again. We have the Temperance, and then we have this. We have this, or we have this. Right? We have the Knight of Wands, or we have the Ace of Cups. It's like, you can continue to sort of band-aid this, or you can actually solve it. And I feel like this Saturn is wanting you to actually solve this, actually. And so it may have made it difficult in the past. Maybe there's something that you needed to learn to really appreciate what you're coming into. Or maybe there was some way it needed to fall apart in the past so you can know how to fix it. And now in the future, like, you're stronger for it. Because whatever you're coming into, you need to have that sort of stick-to-itiveness. And you need to be free of the baggage of the past, because whatever you're coming into is something that is so worth having. So worth it. And you had to be made ready before it. And maybe that's why Saturn left. Because, like, Saturn was like, Jupiter is a planet of good fortune, and it's a planet of expansion. So I know that Jupiter is going to come upon this at some point. I know it's going to happen for Jupiter. But I know that this opportunity may be once in a lifetime. Once or twice or 3 times in a lifetime. Not to say that this is the only time it's going to happen, but it doesn't come around often. And after you miss it the first time, like, if you feel bad about the stuff you missed out on before, imagine how you're going to feel when you miss out on this. And that's not to be whatever, but, let's limit our misery here. Right? And that's why Saturn was like, I need to prepare them for this. But Saturn also realized that it was overly controlling, right? And so it's like, Jupiter's not going to learn what it needs to learn at the same time if I'm here. So I'm going to step out. Jupiter's going to learn its lessons before it retrogrades, and then it's going to make the most out of the situation. It's going to turn lemons into lemonade. It's going to turn limes into limeade. And it's going to turn milk into butter. And we're going to spread that around, and it's going to be so nice and so savory. And the butter is unsalted if you want. If you're vegan, it's a butter substitute. I don't know what that would be, but it's a substitute, right? But anyway, Saturn is sort of putting in this space where subconsciously, like, Saturn is telling us to move. And Saturn doesn't too much do that. If Saturn is giving you this Knight of Wands, that probably means you are cleared for takeoff. Because Saturn is the hardest energy to kind of sort of get approval from. But also, like I said, you're standing on the other side of the door being the closing of a karmic cycle. Saturn is screaming at you, put some space between you and the door because the cycle is closed. With this Nine of Wands, it's like you need to move. Because again, it's like, I feel like whatever this is, the way it started was so much lighter than the last time because the Ace of Wands came out. Something about the way this began should show you that it's not going to be like last time. And then here's Temperance. Here we have the Ace of Cups and this Knight of Wands. And so how would you balance out this Knight of Wands? This Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is right here. Knight of Cups, Knight of Wands, Temperance. Ace of Cups, you have the Ace of Wands, Temperance. Ace of Pentacles, where's the Ace of Swords? Temperance. Here was the King of Swords, Temperance, King of Pentacles. Right? What's this? The Four of Cups. Oof. Oh, wow. I just noticed that these are the same cup. And they're the same size. I've never gotten these two together, so I never noticed it before. Same cup, same size. Actually, this one may be... No, yeah, they're about the same size. This one, the ace may be a little bit bigger. A little bit, but that speaks to the expansion that you're going to get when you can turn this cup upright and then pour in those three cups on the bottom. So it's like Saturn is beckoning you to move. Saturn is telling you that maybe like you've healed enough for this and it's going to be fulfilling beyond anything. Because it's like, that's the danger of the Ten of Pentacles without any cups. Because the Ten of Pentacles is just the stuff. The Ten of Pentacles is the house. The Ten of Pentacles is the Instagram filter that makes it look pretty. But if there's no water, if there's no love, then it's just like, it's routine and it gets boring, and either someone Knight of Wands it for something that they're more passionate or fiery about, or someone Knight of Cups is it for something that actually fulfills them. And I feel like there's kind of sort of this opportunity with Temperance and with the sort of healing card. It came out in the, I guess, the pre-shuffle, in the setup. It came out in the setup. The Pride card came out with the Sun, which is fulfillment, vitality, life in every area, every aspect. And I feel like that's what you have available to you. And maybe that's sort of where, maybe that's something you're not seeing. And maybe that's something that Saturn is trying to highlight to you. Like I said, it started off different. It's like, the things that made you happy sort of in the past are the ways that you were fulfilled in the past, that you entered sort of that commitment with the Four of Wands building with, is different. It's like you get so much more in almost every area of your life this time. And that in itself is different. The quality of love is different. The quality of light is different. The quality of healing, the quality of life, the quality of nature around you and your surroundings, the quality of the serenity that you have, and the quality of the connection of spirit that you have is different. Everything is different about this. With everything, and maybe this is the angel in your ear. It's like, with everything being so different, how could this be the same? And the devil in your ear is like, well, last time you got this close to somebody, last time you opened up to somebody, you got hurt. And the angel's like, okay, but look at the person you opened up to last time. And I know that, this close to things, sometimes you're too close to the parade. You can't see the forest for the trees or through the trees. And like, if you're in the parade, you can't see the whole parade. And it's like, yeah, you may feel like you're so close to this, but before you got this close, you saw this. Before you got this close, you saw this. And now that you're this close, are the red flags that you're seeing red flags from this actual situation, from this actual person? Or are the red flags that you're seeing, it's like your internal GPS guidance system saying, last time we took this route, things were different. Last time we took this route, you had to detour. And last time you took this route, things were under construction, but the construction is complete. Like, you can just go right on through now. And now here we come to Pluto with the Page of Cups. We got the Knight of Cups up here and the Page of Cups down here. This is you receiving a message. Receiving a message. Ace of Pentacles up top. And the subconscious is the Page of Cups. So Pluto has given you a deep, deep knowing. And maybe you're starting to listen to this angel. stop listening to the devil. And maybe since you are a cardinal energy, maybe you're not necessarily feeling ready for it. Maybe not ready to let something go. And I've been in this space before. I've been in that space before where there was something that happened to me in the past that I used as strength. And since I used it as strength, it bolstered and fortified me in some ways. And so I was like, am I ready to let this go? Like, it's not great. It was never great. But am I ready to let this go for something that is lighter and brighter and that will push and propel me even further? And honestly, it took me a few days to be ready to let it go. And I knew from the very beginning that I had to let it go, but I gave myself some time to indulge in it, I guess. But then at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I have to let this go because I don't need it anymore. And it honestly, it hurts more than it heals. And it's just rooted in toxic foundation that I don't need. And so this Stronghold of the Grail is bringing a message of the Ten of Wands. So here again, we see the Ten of Wands in the subconscious. Pluto and Venus, surprisingly. Pluto was trining Venus for a long time when Venus was in Capricorn. When Venus was in Taurus, right? When Venus was in Taurus, Venus is at home in Taurus. Pluto was in Capricorn, so Pluto's been trying it up. Pluto's been preparing and transforming Venus for this very moment. And I feel like with this coming out in the Page of Cups, it's like it's been illuminated to you as well. And now that Venus is retrograde, it's time to pick up the things that Pluto dropped deep within your soul, or within your heart, or within your consciousness, because it was kind of sort of always there in your soul. Pluto, it's like Pluto elevated it from the subconscious to the subconscious. Pluto elevated it from the subconscious to the conscious. But again, it's like right on the other side of that door. So as Venus does her deep dive, she's going to find it. This gift that Pluto raised from the depths of her soul for her, this truth. But she still has to accept it, and then she has to take that. It's like, it reminds me of like, I can't swim, y'all. So we went into the deep end of the pool. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why I asked for it. Don't ask me why the teacher gave it to me. But I asked for the diving block when I was in the deep end. And so I dropped that mess. I wasn't about to drown in that pool, so I dropped the diving block, right? And then there was another student who was kind of sort of the lifeguard just to help the teacher out because the class was a little bit bigger. At my high school, we have to take swim class. For some reason, we gotta know how to swim before we graduate from my high school. Maybe because there's a lake in my hometown and people drown in it sometimes because they go playing in the lake or they go playing on the ice and then they get stuck in the water and they can't get out. And don't ask me why. Again, don't ask me why I asked for the diving block. Don't ask me why people who can't swim play in the lake. It's unfortunate. I don't want to talk about it like, it isn't. But Pluto, I guess, since we're talking about transformation. Don't ask me, but yeah, I grabbed the diving block and I'm going under and I'm like trying to swim, but I'm like, you know what? It's not going to work. I'm going to have to drop this block. And so I dropped the diving block and then the teacher made the student go down there and pick it up. And he's like, swimming a lot harder than he would have to. And he's like, I don't know why you asked for that. And he's like coming out of the water like, he was okay, but he was just like you could tell it was a struggle for him. Like he did it, but you could tell it was a journey for him. And he was like, I don't know why you asked for this. But he was just like, don't do it again. But that's what Venus is kind of sort of doing. But we're like, the student has become the teacher, right? Because even though he was still a student, he was more advanced than us. And he had to go and clean up my mess. And the teacher made him do it too. So, maybe there's something that you're like with this Ten of Wands. It's exactly this. Your mess becomes your message. Your story is that of a hero's journey. The healing that you do for yourself, you may have to help someone else through. And that's why it's so tough for you right now, because you need to know how to do this. But then you need to, as you're helping other people, you need to not project the struggle onto them. It's like, you want them to be aware of it, yes, but you want to also, talk about, at least speak on the parts of the healing and not just speak on the parts of the negative. But here's the divine. I feel like, either this is the divine taking this from you. It's like first the divine gave this to you with this 10 of Wands so that you could learn what it is to go through this. So you can learn what it is to heal from this. And now it's like they're taking it back, but now you're holding on to it. And again, it's like, why are you holding on to this? You have this brand new world, this brand new life that is waiting for you. Fulfillment, not only fulfillment with this Ace of Cups in every area, but abundance as well. And just a powerful connection and ability to really do things quicker with this 8 of Wands up here. But with this Knight of Cups up here, you have to be present. Like this is the stuff that you can do or are doing up here. This is like the stuff that's the reason why this is happening down here. And now you're sitting at the space of the 4 of Swords. 4 of Cups, 4 of Swords. Temperance. And it was so funny because I pulled up this 4 of Cups and I was like, okay, where's the 4 of Swords? And then here's the 4 of Swords. That's kind of sort of been happening lately. It's like I'll pull one card or I'll be talking about something and then it'll come to mind like another card and then it'll actually come out. And like in the pre-shuffle, that's what happened with this Temperance, because I started looking for Justice, or I started looking for the Chariot, and I was like, what does the Chariot look like in this deck? And then the image of the Temperance card came to mind. I was like, no, that's the Temperance card. That's not the Chariot. And then here's the Chariot. Oop! The Son of Cups right here. He's also here. The Knight of Cups. I forgot. He's there twice. And this is because, this is a new situation that you're entering. Aries was the only energy not at the bottom of the deck before. I had Cancer energy in the 4 of Cups. Right? No. I had Cancer energy in the 2 of Cups. I had Capricorn energy in the 4 of Pentacles. I had Libra energy in the Mother of Swords. And then I had Gemini energy in the Lovers. So the Lovers is speaking to you choosing this new path where everything is available to you. Maybe choosing love. But this Lovers is going to have to be, this Lovers person is going to be a Lover's choice that you make. And that's always a choice that we make. But this is going to be a more difficult choice because this is going to be you maybe in direct opposition to what your shadow is telling you, making that choice. And it's almost like this shadow, it's like it's pulling you down to its depths so that as you, just like the diving block, the shadow is the diving block, right? And who you were in the past was me, and who you are now was the student, right? So who you were in the past is someone that would not have been able to swim with that shadow diving block, and so you let it go. And the shadow was at the bottom of the pool, just handling everything by itself. And now that you've grown, now that you're more proficient, you can dive back in the pool as the other dude, grab the shadow block, grab the diving block, the shadow from the depths of the diving well, and pull it up to the surface. Now, it ain't gonna be easy, because that dude was like, that was not easy, but it's something that you can do. Something that you can do now. And the shadow, it's asking you to bring it to the light with it. And that's why that Sun card came out in this deck, because you need to be all of who you are. You need to accept all of who you are. And once you do that, you will attract someone who also does the same. And with this 4 of Swords over here, it's like, things don't have to be difficult. Things don't have to be hard, but you do need to show up to the fight. Right? You don't always have to fight, but you need to be ready to fight when you have to. And this is where I'm going to shut it down for you, Cancer. It's like you have all that you've grown enough to do this. You've changed and you've healed enough to do this. And it's time for you to do this so that you can then help and show other people later that they too can do this. So I'll catch y'all later. I hope y'all have a good whatever you want to have whenever you see this. And I also hope you act in alignment to receive that. Bye, Cancer.